Welcome to Standing on Business with Eric Foss. I'm your host, Eric Foss. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Standing on Business with Eric Foss. I'm your host, Eric Foss. As you've seen with the introduction, Rocky Balboa, greatest boxer ever, statue of him in Philadelphia. Today, we're going to get into Philadelphia. So as promised, let's get into the Philly special, guys. What we're going to do today, I'm going to cover Philadelphia. And the first thing I want to say about Philadelphia is they're different. And after I'm done this, you'll understand why, and you'll understand what I've done here. I'm going to discuss, the organized crime guys in Philadelphia. I'm going to get into just your regular guys. I'm also going to talk about, some of the black guys, the Muslims, just a whole different stuff. Okay. And I'm also going to hit the surrounding areas like Bucks County, for example. So let's get into it. All right, guys. My experience, I've been around Philly guys when I got locked up. Now, why I say they move different is you need to understand something. Let's talk about the organized crime guys at first, or alleged organized crime guys. Okay. In New York, you have, it's huge, or it was, let's say, allegedly. But here's the thing. So I might be in New York. I might be in the Gambino family. And you might be in the Gambino family. But we don't even know each other. This is the first time we met. Boom, boom, boom. But we're both in the same family. Well, I call Philadelphia guys, I call them Sandbox Brothers. And that's not to put them down. For the audience, what's a Sandbox Brother? What I mean by that, they're guys, as you can see, even if you look at a guy like a Joey Merlino, okay? Now, I did a video back on him a while back, so if you want to go check that out, because that's before I had a lot of subscribers and stuff, it still did good views, go check it out, because I get pretty deep into him. But I want to use him as an example, and just in general. You see how he's got people around him that, okay, even like Little Snuff, I think he's close with Little Snuff's father. You also got, these guys with all the nicknames and stuff like that, the Head and this one and that one. Now, I'm not saying these guys are organized crime. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is Philadelphia, no matter what. They're friends. These are Sandbox friends, and they've came up together. That's what I mean. So, in other words, it's actually better in a lot of ways, especially in like crime and stuff like that, because you would figure this. If you and I don't know each other, and then, I get the order to come take you out or something like that, and I don't even know you, that's pretty simple. But if you were my Sandbox brother, that guy who just gave that thing to me or whatever, he might get a reverse Uno card on him. You understand? So that's pretty much them. They're friends. They're a very tight-knit community. Let me just say it like that. But they're smaller than New York. So now, I've been around the older ones, okay? The older organized crime guys who are convicted of it or whatever. One of them was Frank Martinez. He was John Stanfa's underboss. Now, like I said, he's an older guy. Could you, with the New York guys, you can look at some of these guys and you say, oh, yeah, looks like he was in the mob or whatever. Frank, yeah, but that's because he was old and, he just had a little bravado to him. But, he was a little bit different, and he pretty much kept to himself. He's a little bit negative all the time, stuff like that. So you have him, and I remember a guy, Sal. This is an older guy. He liked to paint and stuff like that, and this was at Schuylkill. I don't even know Sal's last name. But let's get into some of the people that I was actually around. So I'm going to go into the younger era of where I'm going to call them street guys. You know what I mean? Some people might say organized crime, whatever, mob, whatever. But I'll say some street guys. We'll talk about the street guys around my age. They're very similar to where I'm from, very similar to Baltimore. And what I mean by that is not saying anything about anybody else, but there isn't a racial divide. Now, yeah, of course, you got your white and black and anything and stuff like that. But what I mean by that is like Philly is street guys. You know what I'm saying? They're all comfortable around each other. You just see it. It just flows. You know what I mean? And they all respect each other and stuff. You know, the guys that I was around, I remember Kazi. He had a bar or whatever. I think he was on. He's he was allegedly in some stuff and all. He was pretty cool. You know. Now, one thing about them, they didn't do a lot of gossiping about each other. You understand? And they all respected each other as whereas though you might have this guy here that's, he's got a good name or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And this one here, he was just a drug addict or whatever, but he's a stand-up dude. He's cool, whatever. And they're going to treat him just, they'll treat him just the same, man, because he's a man. You know what I mean? He's from the way, and they're going to do that. Look, these people stick together. Go down there and try to touch their statues. Go try it. Don't touch that Rocky statue. Definitely don't do that. And the reason why I did the Rocky intro wasn't just because of the Philly thing. It's because that's what I get of them. That Rocky Balboa, just the never quit underdog attitude. And these guys are real. Philly J. I remember this guy, Philly J, right? He's just a street guy, right? But he was probably a couple years older than me. He's from Philly. I met him in Big Sandy, and then we wound up in Schuylkill together. But Philly J he's just Philly J, man. I mean, he was, he didn't fold. He wouldn't, he got into some shit too, like in a few pens and everything like that, because he just, he stood on business, you know what I mean? From everything I know about him, you know what I mean? And then once we seen each other down Schuylkill also, like we were cool in the pen. And then we rented each other down Schuylkill. Obviously we were cool. But like when I was down Schuylkill, he got there after me because I left the penitentiary first. So I remember when he was coming and people were talking about him. Actually, somebody was talking about him was Junior, John Napoli. He's from Bucks County. And he was a biker. And his biker, he was the chapter president of the breed. You can look him up on Gangland and stuff. We're going to get into him in a minute. But anyway, Junior is the one who said, yeah, this guy, Philly J's coming, Eric. You're probably like, I said, Philly J. I said, I know Philly J. He's like, yeah, he's a little wild dude, man. I said, yeah, I know. I know he gets into shit. But yeah, Philly J was cool. So anyway, let's talk about just like some of these characters. And what I mean by characters, and you go, you see the guy Little Snuff. Okay. Every city has a guy or two like that, right? Philly has 30 of them. They're characters. And what I mean by characters, it's not like putting them down. They're just likable people. They're not really into too much shit, but look, they go around real people, they break balls and get their balls broke. They're just funny. You know what I mean? We had one on the compound, Mikey Mush, because he couldn't bet at all. And we're going to talk about a New Jersey guy also who couldn't bet with Charlie Stango. We'll get into him in a minute. So anyway, that's what they are, man. And they like to gamble. That's the truth. And they're really, these guys will go. You know what I mean? I've seen them. I haven't seen them war it out, car versus car or something like that. But I've seen the Philly guys, man. They've went in there, handled a lot of one-on-ones and things like that, man. They don't take a backward step, man. My guys from Philly don't take a backward step. They're some real dudes, man. Like I said, they move a little different. So when I was in the penitentiary, there was this guy named Giovanni, and he's a black dude, and he was from Philly. He's an old man, very, very, very well spoken, has a life sentence for drugs. Now, he had been in a while, and I mean, to this day, he's still all right, put it that way. He was one of them guys. He's got a lot of businesses, car dealerships and stuff. Very nice old gentleman, very nice. And like, I used to get the newspapers at that time. I was probably getting USA Today and the New York Post or whatever. And Giovanni, he used to get like 4 newspapers, and he'd get the Philly one and stuff like that. So we would exchange and all. And, we're both from the East Coast. And it didn't matter. He's black. I'm white. None of that kind of stuff. He considered me a homie. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, you're a homie. You know what I'm saying? We're from the East Coast, blah, blah, blah. Very nice gentleman. I wasn't there when something happened with him. It was before I got there, but I'll tell you how cool he was. I guess some kids got there, man, and they had built a little clique, and they're going around, and they're trying to, they done hit a couple people up or whatever. People were scared of them, so they try to pull down a press on Giovanni. This is what I heard. So I don't know all the extra. Remember the secondhand story, guys. Well, anyway, so I guess they were trying to press him for money or something, or he didn't want to be involved with them because, see, a lot of times the Philly guys or any guys from any cars and stuff like that, if you got a big money guy and say, you're trying to put a book together, move it together, they'll go to them guys, see if they'll back it, whatever. But these guys were on some bullshit. So this old man, he tells them, he's like, yeah, it's cool, young fellas. It's cool. Yeah. Well, tomorrow, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, look, they were out of there. Later on that night, they got dealt with because of the respect that people had for this man. Very great guy, stand-up dude. And like I said, the Philly guys in the pen, it's not they're just regular guys, man. They're more down to earth. They have a lot of Muslims, okay? They do have a lot of Muslims. Now, let's just go down to, let's take it to Schuylkill right now. So I leave the penitentiary, and I get to Schuylkill. Well, I'm in Schuylkill a while, and like I told you, Junior's with me, Philly J shows up, and Giovanni winds up showing up. Well, before Giovanni shows up, Beanie Sigel shows up, the rapper. How was he? Well, he's Philly, bro. Philly through and through. Look, the guy was not stuck up. He's not a celebrity type person. Liked to gamble. Sucked at it. I'll tell you a story, man. He was a kid, Brock, came in, and they were down, whatever unit down there, A unit or whatever. I'm up on C unit. Well, there was cool COs working and stuff, and Brock ran a poker game down there, and Siegel's on the unit with him. So Siegel's one of his players. He's there all the time. He's playing. And I came in, I played. So I played against him that day and probably one other time, man. And let me tell you, man, he's going to call Jesus off the cross. He's not going to fold, you know what I mean? He just calls anything. All you got to do is play locks against him, and you got him all day long. But anyway, as he was on the compound, like I said, he's a down-to-earth dude. So they had a situation. So it was, and like basically all the black dudes from Philly are Muslim. So I guess it could have been a Muslim situation, but it was Philly. So I guess the guy never showed his paperwork. And somebody had got there and said something. There was some type of rumor or something like that. So now, he's not trying to clear it up. Philly gave him a chance. They definitely did. They gave him several chances, because they didn't just, roll down on him. Like, you got a chance to explain your side. Well, the guy hadn't been explaining his side. So we're all in the inside weights, where the inside weights were. And they're sitting there talking. So he comes up to see Beanie Sigel, which if you're friends with Beanie Sigel or you're acquaintance, cool with him or whatever, he likes you to call him Mac. That's his nickname, Mac. So anyway, dude's up on him. It's like, yeah, Mac, I'm just saying, homie, blah, 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 this and that. Keeps explaining it to him. Then he's like, he makes a point. He's like, I don't even mess with these dudes, for me to be showing them or explaining anything. Beanie Sigel turns around. He stood on business. He said, yeah. He's like, I understand that. Then he looked at him. He said, well, yeah, I understand you don't fuck with them. He's like, but you fuck with me, right? Yeah, Mac, I love you, babe. I love you. Well, I want to see your paperwork. Whoa, a celebrity came in here and just did this. I got you, Mac. I got you. He went back after we get called back to, count time or whatever, and then we're going to come back out. He never came back out. He just went and checked in. So, I guess you could technically say Beanie Sigel checked him in. he wasn't he's a street guy, man. He wasn't no fraud or nothing like that. And like I said, he liked to gamble, do his stuff. Now, when Giovanni shows up and we're sitting there, and there's a guy named Jim Kelly also. He's from Philly. He was cool. He was pretty cool or whatever. So this is how I got onto this conversation. So Giovanni was up at rec. Me and Jim Kelly are sitting there up at rec. Beanie Sigel shows up at the rec room or whatever. So Jim Kelly asked him, because he would take pictures with people and stuff like that. He would charge them. He would charge them like 2 mackerels to take a picture with him. So there's a bunch of people with pictures of Beanie Sigel that they paid for that. Trust me. But anyway, so Jim Kelly's son, I guess, liked him or whatever. So he wasn't going to charge him mackerels and he's just like, man, could I get it? You know, he's like, so Sigel came up, and Jim's son was paralyzed, I believe, you know. So he explained the situation to him, and Beanie Sigel, man, like I said, down to earth guy. No problem. You let me know when to be in the yard. I'll take the photo, sign whatever. I'll write your. I think he wrote his son a letter, man. Stand up dude, man. Great dude. So as this is going on, the old man shows up. He's doing his little walk and stuff. Giovanni. He's on the compound. This is how I knew, and I always knew him. This is how I knew he had real power. At the time, Beanie Sigel is trying. He don't got a long bid. He had like a short bid for whatever, like 3 years, whatever. So he's getting out. Now he had money, like me. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean by that is, yeah, I can go to the commissary, $380 a month. You know what I mean? I can have $1,000 sent here or there. You know what I mean? But I don't have money. You know what I'm saying? And he had money, like you would say, possibly more than mine, possibly less. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I do know this. He was coming up, and if you remember, he did all the, you know, he does like state property and things like that. So he was going to do another one, maybe another state property or something basically like it. But he needed the funding. And I watched him go right up and ask Giovanni, you know. Now, I don't know what the whole idea was or what the deal was, but I mean, they shook on it, you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. And I think Giovanni helped him out to get him whatever he needed, or, you know, maybe it could have been just not money. It might have been a connection to a guy who owned a building and a studio. You know, there's a lot of things that play into this. So he was like really down to earth. Now, right outside of Philly, you got a place called Bucks County. All right. Now they got bikers up there, and their main biker club was called The Breed. Okay. Now, this was about 2005 when Junior went down. We're going to talk about John Jr. Napoli, and the other guy I'm about to mention, I don't know, but I've heard of him, never seen him. You can put him in front of me right now, I wouldn't know who he was. But I do know this. He's a stand-up dude. His name's Tattoo Billy. He's from up in Bucks County, Philly area or whatever. Stand-up guy, man. I think he did 30 years. I think he should be home now, or on his way home, possibly. He was Junior's co-defendant. But anyway, Junior was a biker. And if you go like watch Gangland on him and stuff like that, you'll see what he did. He basically just strong-armed his way into position. So when he strong-arms his way into position, I mean, these guys are crazy. They're rolling around. They are moving a bunch of that meth. You know what I mean? That stuff. And this is back when it was expensive, before the borders were so open, before the Mexicans had there. So they were making buku bucks. Like, Junior still had money while we were locked up, but they wound up freezing his money and stuff like that. And we'll talk about that. So me and him both had been in Big Sandy, and at first, Junior is this type of guy. Like, you'll hear about it on the if you watch the Gangland thing. He's this type of guy. He walks up on you, and when he meets you, he looks at you like this, and he analyzes everything you say. And if you say one thing that's anything could be misinterpreted, he's going to go back and call you on it. He's that type of guy. You know what I mean? Very hater rats. Hater rats. I seen him, and he had such a reputation. He made a joke. He made a joke to a CO, and the CO almost shit his pants. So I guess the CO's from around there, Bucks County or whatever, knows who he is. So the CO was saying something, and like I said, Junior was just messing with him. Junior said, man, you better have that rec yard open at a certain time, or else guess what? You ain't going to have a motorcycle anymore. The guy's like, man, please not. Please don't send nobody to take my bike. Junior's like, man, I'm just joking. And I'm dead serious. You know what I mean? He was just kidding around. But, I mean, they had a reputation, bro. They had a reputation, and he had a strong reputation. The guy that he took out, which he didn't unalive him, but the guy he took out his position to become the chapter president. So Junior gets, runs down on whatever, catches them wherever they're at. They're in Junior's house. That's the key to this story. That's why the guy didn't get unalive. So, they all party. So Junior was whacked out of his mind at the time. So he beats the guy down. I think he, hit him in the head with a hammer a few times. And then the guy goes down and he took his, power drill, drilled his hands to the floor. Something to that effect. So when he did that, next thing you know, the guy's all screwed. He's just laying there. Junior is getting gasoline. And it's going to... But somebody, thankfully, was there. Obviously, that was on Junior's side. Hey, Junior. What? You do realize this is your house. Damn. So that's the only reason why I didn't get burned alive. So now, once you get through the first phase with Junior, and he knows you're cool and stuff like that, he's really down-to-earth guy. And he's cool. He's not your typical biker. But, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the long hair. He's not all scraggly. Even in the thing, they say he's more like a Cosa Nostra guy. They even were crying about it, the rats who told on him. They, they're behind the black thing or whatever, talking like that. They're like, this guy, he don't know about the brotherhood. He was trying to run it like a crime family. It is a crime family, you jerk off. What do you think it is? You can't make this stuff up. But they were scared of him, and they still are. Like, he's maybe this type of person, like, the guy said on there behind the thing, and I'm scared now, even behind this and talking like this with the voice or whatever. He's going to find me one day. He will get me and stuff. Which, look, man, who knows? But, like, when we would walk the yard and stuff like that, we would have fun, man. We would talk. We would just... there's little things like a lot of people didn't like Junior. In other words, is this: you get guys like a Junior, you get guys like Vinny Giantino, Kojak, Tommy Karate's co-defendant. You get guys like a Joey Merlino. You get these guys, right? And these are the type of guys they are. They're not just gonna, hey, welcome you with open arms, and they shouldn't. If that was done correctly all the way down the line, then things would be a lot better. But you also have to understand they can seem very standoffish at first too, and just give you a bad look. Like, I'll tell you when when I first met Junior, he's going ask me all these questions and so I'm just like, all right, if you don't got nothing to worry about, you don't got nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? So the people that didn't like him, they're the ones with the skeletons flying out their closet, let's just say. You know what I mean? So he was a real cool guy. And like I said, Jim Kelly was there. Then you get these guys, they come in these joints. You get the Kensington guys. Woo-wee. Kensington. Bang, bang, Kensington gang. I remember they used to say that. This is like, I thought that we were the white hood. Like our neighborhoods down here, because we got some white hoods that you are used to, you know what I'm saying? That we're just like, just a hood, but it's all white people. Man, we ain't got shit on Kensington. That stuff. What are they smoking up there? But, like I said, even every one of them that I met, they were cool, man. They were cool people, man. So, that they're all right. But, like, with, like, the surrounding areas also, you have, like, New Jersey. So New Jersey and Philly, I guess, they got like a kind of like an alliance type deal. Like, I don't know if it's an alliance, but like, they just mess with each other or whatever. I remember like the old man, Charlie Stango, and I wanted to say something about him. Charlie Stango is from New Jersey. I think he was, they say the Sopranos, the Cavalanti family or whatever. He was in that or whatever. Well, I was just talking to a friend the other day, and he told me, he said, man, he's like, you wouldn't believe it. They sent old man Charlie, because he caught 11 months or 12 months, something stupid. They sent him all the way down to Texarkana. So he's down in Texas doing the time, however old he is, 80 years old. Why would they send a man all the way down there? These feds, listen, man, and, that's a lot of the reason why I'm on here, is because, as everybody sees, I'm trying to come across and I'm trying to enlighten people to some things that are going on. Now, when other people say things, just because of the hard stance that they taken on things, nobody's actually paying attention. They just might think they just don't like these people or whatever, or they don't like the government or whatever. But listen, the government does some scumbag stuff, man. They really do. And that's the situation they're doing it with the old man, Charlie Stango. Talk about him for a minute. Charlie Stango, like I said, he was from Jersey. Now, if you looked at him, you would think he's just a jolly little old grandfather. You know what I'm saying? A jolly little old grandfather. You looked at him. But now if you read about him, it's a little bit different. So I just know who I know. And that's who I'll talk about. So him and I bump into each other across the compounds time to time. He really didn't hang on the Barnaby Hill or whatever. I've never really seen him up there. Rarely seen him on the compound or Chow Hall. But one place I could find Charlie Stango for sure. Every Saturday morning and every Sunday morning, as soon as they let us out for breakfast or 8 o'clock, whatever you want to do. If you want to find Charlie, just walk up the rec, go in the hobby craft room. He's going to be in there because that's where we would all go to get our bets together. And I had a ticket, but I also gambled. You know what I mean? So I would have good picks and stuff like that. And like I told you, I was a little bit past these guys too, because remember, I had people in the streets that gamble and stuff. So I could get certain things rolling, and I cracked tickets. So I would be up there. Sure enough, I see old Charlie. So he come up, say, hey, who do you like today? And just I say, I like Minnesota today. Why? I could give him a million reasons, right? And he sit there. Then he'll go to the next guy. Then somehow, and thank God he went opposite, because he was really mush. We'd all lost. All of us wind up winning and Charlie winds up losing. I mean, listen, if Charlie bet on it, listen, that guy couldn't pick his nose. But it's funny because he'd go around and do that with all the picks, then he'd just disappear. And then you'd see him, like, say I give him a pick on Saturday for college or something. Now, I see him Sunday. I went to the window. I hit. You know what I mean? It's a good pick. Teddy hit. This one hit. Well, I had the same thing. Charlie was supposed to have the same thing. So we see Charlie. Hey, what's up, man? How'd you do yesterday? Oh, man, I lost this month. Oh, so you must have bet a whole bunch. No, I lost that bet too. Well, how did we win the bet? You lose it. Well, I didn't like Minnesota, man. And he just walk off. I mean, I'm being serious. He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. Like I said, them guys are just all around that area. They're street guys, man, and funny people and stuff like that. And also this too, the Philly guys are different in this way. They're I'm not going to, because I'm the same way, bro. They're comfortable in prison. That's a bad thing for all of us. Let me just say that. And I'm one of them. They're comfortable. They don't stress it. Like, they're like me. Like, we break balls, we laugh, we get in the mix. Now, there is some other people like that, but I'm just in all the cars. You know what I mean? So don't get it wrong. But all of them are like that, usually. You know what I'm saying? They are. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. So I think that also could be because, like I said, they're Sandbox brothers. And, they've been through hell together. This is nothing. So, they probably take care of each other when one goes in, stuff like that. And also, I guess they accepted that prison's part of criminal lifestyle. They're not whining. They're not bitching. None of that kind of shit. They don't do it. Like I said, the only one that I seen was, the guy Sal was nuts. I think he was dealing heroin or something, to be honest with you. If anybody knows who the older guy Sal was, I think he might have been a dope dealer. He's from Philly, wore glasses, little guy, was an old guy, might have passed away now. If he did, God rest him, rest in peace. But when I say he's crazy, what I mean by this, I guess because he'd been down so long, sometimes people kind of like lose it a little bit. But he could paint really well. He could paint really well. That's all he focused on and stuff. And I remember Tony Ayala told me, Asal, he's a nut. He's a nut. You know what I'm saying? But not like that, because I was like, what the hell's wrong with him, Tony? Because we were all talking about something. He's like, he's nutsy. You don't understand? I'm just like, he's a nut. He just walk on. You know what I mean? Which we're all nuts. You know what I mean? Any one of us that have done all that time, if you've done it over 5 years straight, something like that, man, it's a little something off. You know what I'm saying? But some people's off is better than other people's off. I look at it like this. At least these guys have paid their debts, and some of them have paid more than their debts because, the government does do certain things. Like, I go back to, and I try not to talk about Joey on this, but because everybody knows about Joey. But let's get into some things about him that's just really not brought to the light. They talk about all this stuff with him, but at the end of the day, what about all the stuff he beat? He was acquitted of. What that tells me, man, is that, there was a sham. Not saying he's an angel. Never going to say that. Because I want everybody to follow me here. And remember this is unbiased. But just follow me here. The feds are the hardest thing to beat. The hardest. I don't care who your lawyer is. Okay? You have guys in the feds. And when you talk about money, you have guys in the feds. Back in the day, Willie Falcone. We'll talk about him too. I'm going to do a show on him. Willie Falcone. Okay? He was worth billions. So you got guys like that in the feds. Martha Stewart. Things like that. So it doesn't matter your lawyer. The feds are hard to beat. If you're innocent, completely innocent, I give you a 50% chance. And I'm being dead serious. Give you a 50% chance if you're completely innocent. Look at Irv Gotti and them, with the Ja Rule record label, Murder Inc. or whatever. Remember that back in the day? The feds broke them apart, man. And they say they beat the feds. They didn't beat the feds. They were innocent. But look what it took them through. And they were found innocent, but it broke them down. They're still recouping from that. Supreme had to they did that. And here's the thing. They did that because Supreme was locked up. And they didn't want them making money to help Supreme with his defense. That's my true belief. Because it made no sense. Them guys weren't involved in nothing. But that's the truth. So back to Joey. That's the thing about it. If they charge you with a bunch of stuff and you get acquitted of it, and then they send you to prison for a couple years for a sports bet. Once again, he's from Philly. He lost the bet. You got to read between the lines there. They're hell-bent on that person. They will do cruddy things. They will. Now, I know. I'm not, see, here's the thing. I'm not even talking about informants and stuff like that. Because I know people do the whole lying informants and this. And what that does, guys, is it's bad to say that. And I'm going to say this why. Because now it looks like everybody's done that. So now it just looks like you're throwing a generalization out there instead of being specific. Because you are right. The feds are corrupt. But it's just like when you get into that part, I'll give you an example of it. Just like they got blood on their hands. They will give a guy a deal to put somebody away that they want to be put away bad enough. And this guy could be the biggest scumbag in the world, way more dangerous. Might have unalived kids, might have done a lot of weird things, might have done these things. But they will cut that person loose just to give some information on somebody they want. If your whole agenda is to protect society, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Somehow or another, they got a system going. The Fed's got a system going now. And like I said, so for Joey to beat them at any point, anything he beat him on, he beat him. And like I said, that means he's innocent, bro. But people still rag on and on about it. And then nobody's paying attention to you just sent the guy to prison for a couple of years for betting. And then who turns around and takes over betting? The feds. You know what I mean? So come on. There is a lot to that, man. So as I progress and stuff, I want to get more into things like that too, because there is some people sitting in the joint that they really need to come home. Tony Aiella is honestly my main objective, but all of them are. But my main objective is Tony Aiella. If I could get the platform big enough and I could get the word out there and we could figure something out, I just believe, because I was with him, I seen him screw him up in the operation. I know he's in there. I know he's not a violent person, and he wants to be home with his family. He's been in 30 some years. I don't see the problem, but maybe more awareness needs to be brought to this. Maybe more awareness. But yeah, guys. So yeah, the Philly guys, they and from what I get from them in the streets, they got they put their hands in everything. Now I'm not just talking about organized crime guys, but I mean there was a lot of that the crystal stuff. That's I was talking about earlier with Junior and them. A lot of drugs being pushed through there. I would say right now, I know this for a fact. There's more shit up in Philly than there is in New York right now, drug wise. I know that. I mean, I can't put it this way. Probably is. But, that's just hearsay that I hear too, though. You know what I mean? But I'm just going to tell you, a lot of stuff comes through there. A lot of money. A lot of money. Yeah, the Philly guys get down, bro. Like I said, they're different. That's the Sandbox Brothers. Rocky Balboa, perfect example. You can hit these guys, they're just going to get up. They're just going to get up. They're going to keep fighting. And I'm just not talking about physically fighting or boxing or something. I'm just talking about in life in general, man. They stick together. Tough bunch. Down to earth. Decent guys. Can't say nothing bad about them. I honestly haven't ran across too many that I didn't, from that area, that I didn't like. They got a lot of, they got a lot of, up there, even in like them places like York and Lancaster and stuff like that. Like people think that's like hillbillies and stuff, which it might be a little bit, in the Amish and stuff like that. But they got people out there banging, man. You can go there and get your shit pushed back. They got a lot of people out there doing some things, man. That's the truth. And like I said, in the joint, man, they hold it together. And, much respect to them, man. Much respect to everybody from Philly. And the surrounding areas. I'm going to go, since I missed this show yesterday, I had something personal going on, guys. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to wrap this up, take a quick break. And I'm going to do something, probably a 15-minute show on like prison politics, why they work, why they don't, what are they there for, what was created, stuff like that. So I'm going to do that tonight, right after this. So that's coming for you guys. All right, guys, just remember, until next time, always stand on business. Oh, another thing, I got a couple requests. I got the native car, I got the Serranos. Who else did I get? I don't forget off the top of my head. I want to say something to some of you Midwest guys, man. Hit me up. Let me know where you're from and stuff. Maybe if you know anybody, stuff like that. And if we know some mutual people, man, we could talk about it, because there's a lot of Midwest, in the feds. It's a big car and stuff like that. I know a few of them. You know what I mean? So if you guys want to hear about that. But yeah, I got you on the Serranos. I got you on the natives, and whoever else you guys, you want to talk about. I'm not going to come out here. I'm not going to, say nothing messed up about nobody. You know what I mean? That's why when I try to talk on people, anybody I mention is somebody I'm going to mention in a good light. You know what I mean? Because, I could mention a million bad people. You know what I'm saying? It's just pointless. But all right, guys, just remember, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit me up, whatever. We're all over here. We're standing on business. Remember, until next time, guys, always stand on business.